Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Derek.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week. Go over the horror news, and Derek botches his intro.
I was gonna say something that would have been super controversial, so I stopped myself.
Okay, good, good. You're
Well,
learning.
I like how you second guessed yourself. The best part was though you didn't cover it very well. It was legit like
Oh
I
no, it was absolute like mid thought, being like, nah, don't say that. Don't really have
it
that. I'm
happens
Derek.
happens to the best of us.
Derek wearing a blue shirt today.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, I had to go to daycare and drop the kids off, so I wanted to put on
My-
something in the white shirt, other than the white shirt,
Little,
which
little
I
bit of
left
color.
at the. I left one of my white shirts at the campgrounds.
Oh no, that poor
Yeah.
white shirt.
I know somebody's going to inherit a awesome white shirt,
Well, you do have
or they're
plenty.
gonna
You're
think
like
it's who left this blanket.
you're like Ernest. You have a full closet full of just white shirts. It's like your uniform. Or like
It makes
Doug,
getting
you know how
dressed
the
way
cartoons always
easier.
have like the same of every
Yeah.
outfit. Yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Yep. It's like, what am I going to wear? Yes. Classic. So you guys doing well tonight?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing so much better than I was doing last time. I feel like a
Because
million
you're not
bucks.
sick.
Yeah.
That would do it.
Well, I feel like a $20 bill, not a crisp new one that's been like had cocaine snorted through it and ran through your jeans, the washing machine.
those are the
That's
those
what
are
I
the
feel
best
like.
of the 20s. I feel all right. A little tired,
One of those
but
little crinkly ones.
but we don't have time for that because we've got to go through tonight. We are on the fourth of the 5 Insidious films. We've blown through these guys. We've just blown through these ones, guys. But before we get into that, I got a little bit of horror news. Actually, I got a lot of bit of horror news. It's just like banging week all of a sudden. Start with this one. Kate Siegel is starring in a new dark comedy called Damned If You Do. The film follows a group of teenage friends who sold their souls to the devil. Naturally, life grants them different paths: a rock star, a tech mogul, and a high-profile activist. Years later, they must rely on an old classmate to try to escape hell's grasp before the contract's deadline on their 25th high school reunion. What do you think of this plot outline?
Sounds cool.
Sounds
It does
fun,
sound
right?
pretty cool.
Love
Yeah.
Kate Siegel. Watch anything she's in. She's the best, right?
She was
Speaking
Al's
of
wife,
Kate Siegel,
right?
guys. No, that's Kathy
Is that who
Siegel.
you're talking about?
No,
Oh.
it's not. It's Kate Siegel.
Missed
You know,
it by
from
that much.
The Haunting of Hill House, all
Oh,
of
okay.
Mike
Yeah,
Flanagan's movies because it's his wife.
yeah. Yeah. I got
Yes.
you
Yeah. Now you got
now.
me.
We're on the same page.
All right. Well, good, because speaking of Kate Siegel and Mike Flanagan, Mike Flanagan announced today that Hush is coming to digital to own for the first time in August, and it should be followed shortly by a Blu-ray release.
Heck yeah.
We were just talking
Very
about this
cool.
a couple last week, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you can't watch it anywhere at the moment
Yep.
because it's not on Netflix anymore. So that's
yeah.
great news.
And we definitely need to cover that one on here. So
We will definitely do it once it's available. Once it's available, we will definitely watch it. It's a good one. It's a good one, right?
yeah.
We've all seen
Mhm.
that one, I do believe. So
Yep.
that's great news. Let's see this one. So George Romero's daughter, Tina Romero, is directing a zombie movie of her own called Queens of the Dead. That stars Katie O'Brien, Margaret Cho, Bridget Lundy Payne, and Cheyenne Jackson. The storyline is the film pays tribute to the zombies from the elder Romero's classic zombie films with a fresh, contemporary, and queer twist. The story follows an eclectic group of drag queens, club kids, and frenemies who must put aside their personal dramas and use their unique skills to combat the brain-thirsty undead when the zombie apocalypse breaks out during the drag show in Brooklyn. What do you guys think of this?
That sounds fun.
Sounds fascinating.
Yep, she also
Sure.
co-wrote it. Yeah, should be
Sounds,
fun, right?
Should be funny, yeah.
Yeah, should be good.
Sounds pretty cool.
Check it out. I'll give it the old watch. So we have a couple of new picks for Night Bitch. You guys want to see him?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The Amy Adams.
Yeah,
Amy Adams, right?
Yep. The Amy Adams led movie. Here it is. So there's one. You know, her with some dogs because she's turning into a dog, she thinks. There she is running with a pack of
I don't-
dogs.
Okay, here we go.
Derek, you see him now?
Yep.
There she is outside. Look at all these. These are the picks. This one's my favorite. It's very funny. So yeah, what do you guys think? You guys still excited for Night Bitch?
Yeah, that's got to be a funny one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks fun, right? Sounds good. And Amy Adams is excellent, so I'll always watch anything she's in. Give it a shot at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, guys. This is interesting. The Alien TV series from FX has wrapped filming.
The what? Oh,
And we
that's
also-
the Alien.
yeah.
I gotcha. The TV
Can
series.
you hear me?
Yeah, I'm part of it. I'm really tired, but I'm here. I gotcha.
Well, I say something, and then there's like a 10-second pause, and then you say, "Ah,
It
yes."
wasn't- It took a minute for it to.
Derek has his own delay, his own lag.
It's
Apparently,
wild.
right.
It's so wild. This
I
whole
am
episode's
off
been
of it, man.
weird because of this whole thing. I put the pictures up, and he's like, "I don't see." Oh,
Lydia, when he put the pictures up, could you see them immediately?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't. It literally took about 5-7 seconds. So then I was confused, and I'm like, well, maybe Lydia can't see it either, and we'll just catch up, and it never did. So then I started to talk, and then it showed up. So, whatever. It happens.
Technical difficulties.
so the Alien TV series that takes place. Where is it? It is set roughly 70 years in the future from now, so it takes place 30 years before the events of Alien. So it has wrapped filming. There's a lot of movement on the Alien franchise, huh? Because we
Mhm.
have this simultaneously with Romulus,
Oh, yeah.
So- which comes out soon. Romulus releases very soon. So I mean, we're getting spoiled with the Alien stuff, which is not a bad thing, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So yeah, that's cool that that's done, wrapped filming. Hopefully, we hear the same thing about a Friday the 13th series. Fucking one of these days.
They might come up with a surfboard or collector stickers, but
Yeah, no shit. That's kind of all they're doing, isn't it?
yeah, let's see. if
A
we can produce
surfboard.
movie.
a surfboard. Out of all the products, that's why.
You got him.
Fucking Jason just a fucking Jason surfboard. They say surfs up, guys. Introducing the brand new Voorhees board. So you can hang 10 deaths. Oh, I
That's
love
right.
that. That's fucking great. Derek, they better be fucking making that now. Now I want one.
If they don't, it's gonna be like a shirt that we're gonna have to make or something.
Yes, we're definitely gonna make that shirt. Guys, have some pictures for you. Derek, tell me if this pops up for you. You guys see that?
Yep. True
Okay,
never dies.
so
this is
here's
the
the new
Crow, huh?
here's the new poster for The Crow. Tell me what you think.
Okay, let's see it. Has this
I already
movie
don't
not
like
come
it.
out yet?
No, it has not come out yet.
It looks like.
What do you think?
It looks like I made that in graphic design class my first year.
Yes, not very good, is it?
That's a no for me, dog.
It doesn't
I'm channeling
doesn't do
my
it for me either.
inner-
Randy Jackson.
what's his face? Jeremiah
It's-
Jackson, something like that.
Like, it's fine, but
Just
it's
said
not.
Randy
You know, I
Jackson.
mean, like, I think.
Jeremiah Jackson. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, it's fine, right? It's
Like, it looks
fine.
about how fine the movie is probably going to be.
Yeah. Derek, are you frozen over there?
I'm not frozen.
Was he frozen for you, Lydia, or was it just me?
Yeah, I think he's got something going on.
Because you're pixelated, so you couldn't see, and you were like this. You were frozen. I
Oh.
was like, is he a teapot? Short and stout? All right. And then lastly, I got another one for you guys to react to. Because, I mean, we're not looking forward to that Crow movie. Obviously. We'll give it a shot, but I'm not stoked about it. I don't know if you guys are.
Yeah.
Derek?
It,
No.
it might
I'm a
surprise
big
us.
fan
We never
of the
know.
original, so this is just going to be a complete letdown. Although I do feel like it's got to be better than I forget the title of it. It's a Crow movie, but it has David Boreanaz and fucking Edward Furlong. And let me tell you what, that movie
That's Salvation. That's
dog
Wicked
shit
Prayer.
that they lit on.
Wicked Prayer.
Yeah, Wicked Prayer. That's dog shit that they put in
Yeah.
a bag and lit on fire. It's
Yeah, that's
terrible.
pretty terrible. That's terrible.
Dang. Strong
It's
stance
pretty
right there.
I believe every
He hates
word
him
I
as
just
much as
said,
he hates
Lydia.
Daniel Baldwin.
I don't
He
hate.
hates him as much as he
Edward
hates Daniel
Furlong.
Baldwin.
I don't hate David Boreanaz, but man, that movie is it's a criminal shame for that franchise. It's terrible.
The only
I
thing that
watch
would have
The
made it worse for
Munsters
you,
in a
Derek.
day a week.
Only thing that would have made it worse for you is if Daniel Baldwin showed up in it.
Only because he's a terrible actor, but you know, it is what it is.
and
What was that?
finally, guys.
Flatliners?
No, John Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then finally, I have a look here at the new Hellboy Crooked Man. I got a new photo to show you.
Okay, yeah. What are your guys'
Yeah.
thoughts on this? Because I've been wanting to
I don't
talk
think
to you about it.
Hellboy himself looks bad. I think he looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the movie, the trailer that we saw, looks horrible.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to judge it too harshly from the trailer, but it looks cheap.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer?
No, I did not.
I don't know.
No.
What do you think about his hand? Does it kind of look
I mean, his hand is fine. His face is like is not Ron Perlman's face, and that bothers
Well,
me.
it's not Ron Perlman's face,
Mhm.
that's for sure.
I know.
But it
Yeah.
kind of looks a little bit on the cheapy side, yeah.
You know what it kind of looks like? Although I will say these movies, at least the first couple, were like excellent or well done
Yeah.
for the budget and the
Yeah, they
network
were.
that they were on. You guys remember The Librarians?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it means. It looks like cheapy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Although that was
Like
really
major
good
low budget.
because yeah,
It was a good
they
story.
did a really good job. Yeah, it's a good story and good
Yeah.
actors.
So this one might be like that, where it's like a good enough story that you're like, you know.
Yeah.
Did you guys like
Get over
the other one that didn't have Ron Perlman in it?
I have not seen it. I've not seen the other one.
Really?
That doesn't
Okay.
no, haven't seen it
I
yet.
haven't either.
Oh wow.
But
Okay. Yeah.
the first two Hellboys are excellent. Love them.
Oh yeah. Huge fan of the first two.
Guillermo's Hellboy movies, top notch, excellent.
Yes.
Ron Perlman
And
was
Doug
born to
Jones.
play Hellboy, right? Come on.
Yes.
He is
Honestly.
Hellboy. It's just like Michael Keaton.
Yes.
He is Batman.
I don't blame him for not wanting to put all that on though. If that's why he's not like returning, more. Just like
Well,
that's a lot of makeup.
yeah. Well, I mean, he wanted to do it for the longest time. It's just that he and Guillermo wanted to do it, but they couldn't get it together, and he's not going to do it without Guillermo, and Guillermo's moved on to other things. So
Right.
it's unfortunate we won't get their third chapter.
Right. With the
But
little
those are fun.
baby,
Yep.
little baby Hellboy.
Yeah, those are fun. All right, guys. It's time to talk about tonight's movie. Insidious, The Last Key. Derek?
Derek,
What?
how
That wasn't
dare
me.
you have your phone go off like that?
That had to be... Was that you this time, Lydia? God dang it.
No,
Sorry,
so
Derek.
mean, Lydia.
So...
How dare you? No, I'm kidding. I would have blamed
That is
me
pretty
too,
funny.
Lydia.
you totally pulled a Durkus on him. You pulled a Durkus.
My bad.
That's the way, Lydia. That's how you have to do it.
I tried.
Point at the kid that always farts, and you'll never get in trouble. That's what I mean. That's what I did. That's why you got to pull a Durkus. All right. So, guys, Insidious: The Last Key.
Yes.
Is this either of your guys' first time watching this?
Mine.
Oh, this is your first time seeing this one. Okay.
Yep.
You've seen it before, Lydia?
Yes.
When
Once.
did you watch it when it came out?
I believe so. Yeah. I think I did.
Yeah. I do too. I think this is only my second time watching this.
Me too.
I watched it when it came out. I rented it. I didn't see it in theaters.
I didn't either. I don't think.
Sarah and I
Well,
rented
maybe
it.
I did. I honestly can't remember.
I know we didn't because I remember us renting it. Because I don't know why I didn't. We went and saw the other ones. I just didn't get around to going to see this one in the theater for whatever reason. But we Sarah and I rented this when we lived in the apartment, and we both like remembered a little bit of it. It's not the most memorable of these movies.
Yeah.
And it had so the villain I remembered the key finger guy.
Mhm.
And I remembered the twist that happens about halfway through this movie. But I was like, which one is, and then, so when I was explaining it to Sarah, she's like, this is the one with the breathing guy? I was like, no. Is this the newest one? No. It's the one with the guy with key fingers. And she's like,
Yeah.
she buried it in the recesses of her mind. And she's like, oh, yes, key fingers. Now I remember.
Yep.
So, first things first, this movie is written by Lee Winnell again, of course, and he returns to play Specs, but it's not directed by he nor James Wan. It's directed by Adam Robitel. So, what do you guys think of the direction in this movie? Let's start there.
It's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little what's the word that I want to use?
Magoo. No.
Uh, it's kind of it's kind of basic almost. Like
Yeah. It's stagey, I
little-
feel like.
yeah. And maybe I don't know, we can get into it, but maybe it's just the
Yeah.
dialogue that's making me feel that way, but everything's kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
handed to you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
very
like we haven't seen the fifth one, but we know because this is a prequel. Like you can make some 100% assumptions. Like none of the three like major characters are gonna die. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that. So those types of surprises are kind of taken off the table, and it's
right.
an exploration of her past, Elise's past.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have a problem with the story. We'll talk about. We'll get into it at the end when we talk about it. But
Yeah.
yes, that's the story. It's basically a prequel for Elise, her origin story, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because we kind of got our origin story in the last one as well.
Right, yeah.
It feels like we're kind of retreading some ground in this one. Is how I kind of feel.
Definitely.
Right, kind of like
It
spinning our
makes it
wheels a little.
it's like I'm fine with it, but it does make it
Yeah.
really confusing to like
Yeah, like
be like, okay, so this one is, after this or
yeah.
before
So
this
it's
one and after this one.
yeah. So it's
At the same
after
time.
part 3, but before part 1
Part one, yeah.
is where
Like
this one falls.
What a strange
Yeah.
thing.
Well, what it boiled down to is they killed Elise in the first movie, and she kind of
Yeah.
became the franchise. So they're like, gotta make prequels. That's the only way to do it.
Yes.
Only way to tell
I
more
was
Elise
like,
stories.
it's my favorite thing that she became the franchise.
Yeah, I do love that. Yeah, she's great. In
Right?
it. She's great in this, like always.
Amazing.
There's some
Dude,
interesting performance stuff we'll talk about in this, but I think that also comes down to direction. What were you going to say, Derek?
To kind of like add on to that, so the relationship between Specs and damn it,
Tucker?
Tucker, those guys are great. There were several times where I just laughed at their jokes, or it's like they're brothers. There's an ET joke in here that I like. It's like, you nerdy bastard.
Yeah,
It was
that's
great,
good.
but
Yeah.
anyway, I do love like they make this franchise kind of feel like home, the three of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some good stuff with them. The what's interesting is the first like 15 minutes of this movie is just like Elise's dream of her flashback. Like that's literally what the first 15 minutes are. And it's pretty interesting. You get some cool ideas and stuff, some cool stuff. We obviously know her father's a messed up guy from the get-go. And then we get like the murder of her, the murder of her mom and everything. I think there's some there's some good suspense in there and some okay scares. Nothing like great. The scene in like the bunk bed when whatever pops up behind him, I don't know what the fuck that's about. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that a Pokemon?
Right, yeah. Kind of a tribal looking paint
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what's going on there. But I
don't
do like
either. I know exactly what you mean. Like there are some scares that are like just do not kind of like
land.
you're kind of like they don't matter.
Yeah.
They're like
They don't quite land. There's a bunch of loud noises pop out, but they just don't they're not executed to the like the wand perfection where you're like there. It's like a second late or something.
Something's wrong with the scares. Yeah, for sure.
Slightly off. But what? So we get that flashback. Then we're into like her, modern. Well, like not modern day, but like present at that point Elise. Pre-Lambert visit, post Quinn, Elise is where we are.
Yes.
And you know, she gets a call from this guy who's saying that that his house is haunted and they need help, and it's of course her old house. And that's how our story starts, as she decides to go to her old house to kind of face her demons, and basically make peace with her past, while also she thinks trying to save this guy. I like that setup. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Yep.
I think I don't know how you felt about this, Derek, as a first watch, but I think seeing the guy that is like the homeowner in need of help, you're kind of like, well, this guy is clearly unhinged in some ways, other than being, haunted.
Yeah, so it's a lot like the story with the dad. Like, you kind of start out just thinking he's a hard-nosed asshole, and then as you progress through the story, like, you kind of like peel back that onion and you realize the underneath. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I took from it initially was, man, this guy looks like he's had some rough days. I didn't expect him
Yeah.
to have kidnapped somebody and put him in the basement behind a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the most successful part of this movie, I think, is
Yeah.
the actual reveal of that.
Yeah.
Like when they're in the basement and they're going through and they find, she sees her and she's bent over, and she's like, oh, and she goes to get the whistle, and then she goes back and she's closer and she's like this, and which is kind of cool. You're like, well, that's kind of fucking creepy, this ghost. And then when she realizes that it's not a ghost, it's a really good reveal. Like,
so good.
Oh, this is a person that's locked down here currently.
Dude, that's so scary.
That's a good bit. I think that's the best bit in the movie.
Yeah.
Also, I think there's some decent suspense with him trying to chase down Specs. It's pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Very
some
well
good
done.
there's some good bits in there. There's some good bits. There's also some weird clunky things, but overall it's a pretty good sequence.
What do you think about him like smashing him with that like entertainment
I
stand?
kind of
That
never.
giant
I was
chest?
kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would be what I would do too. To be fair.
Right. I mean, he just kind of like knocked him out and unarmed him, and then was like, "Murder."
Yeah. It is kind of weird the way it's blocked out. Like if he would have knocked the gun out and or knocked him down and then immediately pushed the chest on him, then it wouldn't have came off as murdery as it does.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, the guy's had a gun and he tried to shoot you, and
Yeah.
it's not
No. Well, I think that he's in the
justification for
right.
sure.
Of course, there's justification, but he also had him
Yeah.
unarmed, and could have
He was gonna reach
maybe
for the gun. I could
interrogated
see
him.
it.
He wasn't reaching for anything.
It's double
Yeah,
tap.
I mean, I think it's absolutely like justified that like they
Of
were
course.
clearly in danger.
Mortal danger,
So
and
Yeah.
there's a innocent young girl tied up in the cellar,
and there's a demon running around,
and there's a
He
demon
didn't
running around.
know
You never
that,
know.
but maybe he gathered
point,
it from
good point.
The footage. I'll cut that part, but I don't know that he knew that was the case at that moment, because there were like some interference with the video feed, so maybe he knew it. I'm not sure. That part was not super
right,
clear.
yeah, that's probably right.
Well, I mean, he always believes there's something supernatural going on. I mean, that's who they are.
Well, I don't think he
Um,
knew that there was a real person down there.
Yeah, no, I don't think he knew that bit yet either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a great reveal.
It's a great reveal. Yeah, it's the strongest part. And then
And then there's another one, and you're just like, what?
yeah. So what's weird to me is I think that after this, I think the rest of the movie kind of goes a little fast and a little slow at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a weird pacing thing going on, right? Like, so after that, they take her to the hospital, or that girl goes away, and then for some reason the brother shows up at the house, and he's like, "I need my whistle." Like, what the fuck?
I know, yeah. Well,
Okay.
and like when they go, so they go. She goes to the diner and like sees like
Yeah.
her nieces, and she's like, immediately kind of like senses that must be them, right? Or
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I missed
She
something
did,
there,
yeah.
but she was
I think
like,
she did.
I thought you were somebody, that I know very
Yeah.
well. She. I liked that a lot, and then I think this is where the pacing gets weird, is because she's like, you want these like interactions to be happening, these emotions just aren't fully connecting where they
Yeah,
should
well,
be,
and that's what
and it's
I'll
kind of
talk about it.
awkward. It's kind of awkward,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, it would be probably, but like,
Well,
I
I'll
don't
go
know.
into what I think the problem is towards the end when we talk about
It
the movie.
feels like a soap opera a little bit. Like
There's
the way
definitely some
that
soap opera-y stuff.
yeah.
No, I'm fine with all that. I'm fine with him, getting, saying, "Oh, well, you left me with this monster." She's like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah.
All that stuff's fine. But what doesn't make sense is, so she gives the picture to the nieces. Says, and by the way, the one girl's name is Imogen. What the fuck kind of
I like
name
it.
is Imogen?
Oh, it was
That's a
cool.
writer
Dude.
name for sure.
When we were in labor with Clark, when Quincy was in labor with Clark, I was talking to the nurse, and I'm like, "So you must get some interesting names." And she was like, "Yeah, there was somebody who named their kid Pepsi," and she was like, "The most interesting one that I think I've ever had was this lady who didn't even bother to think of a name for her kid. When the when the baby was born, she was like, he looks like a pudge. That stupid bee named her kid Pudge. Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, only in America, man. Only in America.
That's like, isn't that like the fish from Lilo and Stitch that eats like the peanut butter
I
sandwiches
have
and predicts the weather?
no
I
idea,
think so.
but
Pudge, that
that
is a great name.
criminal. Pudge.
Not like
But
Thanks for getting your kid picked on. Fucking idiot.
But what's funny is, what's interesting is, so like it gives him the picture, so and we get just that smallest interaction, gives him the picture, or she gives her the picture, and then the next time we see the dad, he's holding the picture and he's at the house and he's like, "We must find this." Like,
Mhm.
oh,
Why?
okay, I guess that's
Well-
what they're doing now. By the way, they're just
Well, I
breaking
mean,
into this
deep
dude's
connection
house.
to that.
It is an active crime scene, by the way.
Yeah.
Now that I agree, he might have felt some sort of ownership because he used to live there, but he has a super deep connection to this whistle. He thought it was lost and she found it, but his mom gave that to him.
Right. Yeah.
Right, I
It was
understand
one of
that.
the last things she did. I would have went back and
He-
broke into that house for that thing.
I don't think I would while the police tape and shit is still up. I'd probably say, "Hey guys, if you find a whistle, that's mine." I haven't been missing it for the last fucking 30 years. So it's not like I went back to the house to look for it in the last 30
Yeah.
years.
That's
So
true,
it's only important now because the plot calls for it to be.
Yeah,
In my
and like when they
mean-
walk in, they walk in and it's like the shot of him like looking, like it looks like he's looking at the body still on the floor, which I know it's not. And they're just like, "Oh, we're looking at the counter, like the boxes that are on the table or whatever." And I was just like, "That is so fresh." It would be like
It literally
still
just happened. It's
blood
an
everywhere,
active crime
probably.
scene because there was also a person that was locked downstairs. So who knows if there's evidence of more people, which of course at least finds. You know who else probably would have found that? The
Oh.
police, while they were doing their
No, they
job,
would've never.
searching the house.
Oh yeah, they would have never found
That was
that.
well
No way.
hidden. Dude.
It wasn't though. It was like just inside that thing, just inside the fan, right there. She's like, "Oh, here, I found this
Yeah.
slip."
What's up with those fan tunnel situation? Like, what is that?
So it's 100. It was 100% there. to create the false scare that he was going to get his arm chopped by the fan.
Oh well, yeah.
That's why it's
Well,
there, I think.
I
Yeah,
was
no, I
worried
100% agree.
about that, and I was like, I've
Yeah.
seen this movie before,
Yeah.
but it was still.
I wasn't
I've seen
because
the other
I knew it was
movies,
a
and
prequel,
Tucker has
and in
his
the
arm.
future, he has his arms. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I thought the same thing, but I was still like, get your arm out of there.
So, this reveal, Derek, this was your first time watching it. What did you think of the reveal that the woman that she saw in the slip dress was alive? And her father was doing the same thing.
Derek.
I was really, if you're into the movie, I was a little disheartened that her dad, but you go back to this demon was controlling this other guy, so you immediately go back to that. But there's a moment there where you're like, wow, she was in real danger when she was a younger kid, and it's super sad, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good reveal, pretty strong one. I remember when
It totally is. Totally.
because you're like,
yeah.
You're like, oh, she's not a ghost.
yeah, well, she is now,
Yeah, well-
but she wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you get that that kind of false sense that she saw a ghost just from the backstory, and then
Yeah.
if her brother would have
She
came over,
thinks she-
it would have been a whole different ball game for them. But it's crazy. I agree. It was a great reveal,
And the reveal
and
that
the guilt
beats
she
her to
must have
death.
felt.
Well, she
Yeah.
does feel,
Yeah,
which she is misplaced because what was she gonna do? You know what I mean? Like
no, and there's no way she could have known. But
No.
still, you would have felt that guilt, man. That would have been tough. I'd have been in therapy for years.
If there would have been a second and that girl would have stepped out of there, because she was like, my brother doesn't think that you're really here. Like, can you step out of there? And he, like, just got cut off by the dad, and like she could have I could have completely blown it wide open right there.
Yeah, it could have. The demon would have still been there though. But
here's one for you. Do you think that the dad was possessed and killing people while the mother was alive, or it happened after?
Well, I think it had to have happened prior, right? Prior, because
because there was
further
a time
back.
jump from
Yeah.
there's a time jump from where she was a younger girl to that scene in the hallway.
There is,
right,
but she
That's
also
true.
was looking in the.
She said she was 16.
The room, so I don't know. Who knows? But I do know that.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I was just what you thought.
No, it has to be. No, it has to be. Had to be before. I don't know if the mom was alive, but definitely there were people killed before Anna, because all the other suitcases were behind hers.
Yeah.
So in order for that to be a thing, I would assume
we don't know.
The latest one.
We don't know if
that was clipped.
But we don't know if those were his. We don't know if the dad was killing all those other suitcases, though.
I mean, it's never.
Well, we are to infer. I think. Yeah, we are to infer.
Yeah, good educated guess for sure. But you're right, Lydia. It doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't specifically say, "Oh, her dad killed." We know he killed that one girl. For 100%.
And he did it so cold-heartedly, so that wasn't his first time.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
the fact that he
possessed, it seems like, or at least controlled by. The reason I asked that is that the mom seemed to have had like a sprinkle of the gift or a hardcore knowledge of it, because she says to Elise, but like, how could you not know that your spouse is doing something like that?
Here's why I think that Here's why I think he was, because I think the reason that he was so afraid that Elise sees ghosts is because he could expose him, essentially.
Yeah.
Right, that's why he was trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's why he was trying to, like, suppress her.
Yeah, suppress the gift. But he...
What's the mom's explanation of, like, why? Like, the mom must have known something.
Who knows?
But she was like, because she believed Elise like wholeheartedly and was
Yeah,
like,
well, that's what Derek was saying. She at least has some kind of,
maybe she knew something was going on.
maybe. I think it's more she just believes Elise and is probably in touch with the supernatural or has experienced it in some way. So she believes her daughter.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Yes,
not to get too sidetracked, yeah, you would think that a spouse would know that something like that was going on, but there are countless examples
No.
of
the BTK killer's family had no idea.
No idea. You're right. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, we can get back on track now. I just wanted to bookend
you're right.
that little conversation.
So, when she's
scary,
in the tunnel, what do you think of this scare, Lydia? When she's in the tunnel and she's going through the briefcases.
Dude, I was laughing so hard at this scare because I was like kind of like narrating it. I was like, me and Jake were watching it, and I was like, and then he's gonna be behind the suitcase, and then he's gonna be behind her, and then no, he's behind the suitcase. Like I kept going back and forth. So I was just laughing like the whole time. But when it finally, like the jump scare finally happens, I was like, okay, that was pretty good.
I think it's a pretty solid one. What do you think, Dave?
It looked like I don't know who jumped out of there. Was it the Zoom-in thing?
It was a key man. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he looks scary as heck in that. He looks like
I did like his
you
design.
only see it for a second.
I will say that
I'm indifferent on his design. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think there was one too many. My personal opinion, because they did like fucking 5 of them. But it is effective because by the time it does happen,
with
you're
expectations,
like, for fuck's sake, man, come on, just get it over with. Where's it at?
Yeah, the anticipation. Yeah, the anticipation's
kind of ruined the anticipation.
A little. I like that there's a couple of false, like fake out.
Oh yeah, I had no qualms with having like 3, but literally like on the 5th one is when he popped out.
Yeah. And he pops out of the suitcase, which is a good place for him to pop out because that's the place you're not expecting him to pop out. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun.
Let's talk about the key demon for a second before we get into more of this. Because what do you guys think of his design?
Well, okay, I just want to say when he pops out of that suitcase, I think he's lit perfectly to really give you this like nasty corpse skin kind of look, and something about like the eyes kind of looked like foggy, and that I don't know, that really creeped me out when I saw him come out of the suitcase, even though the scare was so overly built up. But like when you see him other times, he's lit a little bit differently, and then you're kind of just staring at the design.
He's lit very blue. Yeah,
it's the blue. It's like a haunting episode or something. Yeah,
like a haunting. That's very good. It's a very good way to describe it. I think his design is fine. I love the key fingers. I think that is really creepy and cool. I think his face design is just kind of generic, though.
Like a Halloween mask, kind of.
Kind of like we've seen before. Not much different than... I think Breath Guy is scarier. The old man Breath Guy is like way more terrifying.
Yeah, but he's got
demon.
That like... Yeah, and I agree with you. I didn't I liked the aesthetic of this guy, but you're right, the other guy is more scary, but man, that labored breathing also adds an element to it. And also he's a little bit slower paced. Yeah. And it's more in the shadows, it's a little bit darker of a movie and
yeah.
That just reminded me when she's like in there and it like is like
that's
standing
a cool
behind
bit.
her.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and it's just like a suit, and you're just like, no.
That's pretty good. When she's laying down after she falls into the further, and you see him behind the girl, and she's like, the niece.
Yeah.
She's like, crawling towards her. That's pretty good. You're like, oh.
I was definitely like that. That is a scary idea.
Yeah, Sarah walked in that moment and was like, oh, that's creepy. And then walked out with Connor. I was like, yeah, don't let Connor in here. This one's kind of weird. So this final confrontation, this third act, is kind of messy, right? I mean, we have Imogen that's like, by the way, I too have the gift. And then Tucker's like, by the way, I too can hypnotize you to fall into the further.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of one of those like, bits.
Yeah. I was fine with it, but I thought that actress was like, I don't know, I couldn't figure her out. Like, she was kind of wooden a little bit, you know?
I'm gonna tell you, I don't think it's the actors.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's the directing.
I think yes. We'll get into it more, but Bruce Davidson, fantastic actor, comes off a little wooden in this one. Elise Lin Shaye, fantastic actor, comes off a little. No, Bruce Davidson is her brother.
From X-Men.
And I
from
say
X-Men.
that because I think the weakest performance in this is I feel like it's probably the dad.
Okay.
I think he's fine. I think it's the
I
same.
thought he did good, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in The Collector, wasn't he?
He is. He is the lead in the Collector movies. Yeah. Larkin.
Cool. Those are fun.
Those are great. Yeah. But so this third act, yeah. I mean, so she gets, she talks to the Anna, and they go into the further, and Elise, the demon, hands Elise a riding crop, and lets her, or the walking stick, and lets her beat her dad with it, so that way it feeds the demon.
Yeah.
And then Elise, Imogen breaks Elise's spell, and she like goes to fight him off, and then we get what I like to call the shocker scene. That's what this is, the shocker scene, when she finally uses the silver whistle.
Oh yeah.
And then the mom comes and flat out turns into Wes Craven's Shocker, which flies him back into the netherworld.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this bit?
Well, I was just kind of like, me and Jake kind of always quote this little cartoon called Over the Garden Wall, where there's this character and he's like, "It's a metaphor."
Yep. Yes.
So I was like,
of course, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Love conquers all. Love protects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially a mother's love. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely feel your shocker comment.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's very much so. Even the way she's kind of lit, white, kind of like she is in Shocker and what have you. But I mean, it's probably not intentional. I mean, it might be. If I were making this movie, 100% would have been intentional. I'd be like, okay, so this was going to be our Shocker scene.
Yeah.
Not going to make any qualms about it. We're actually going to use a shot-for-shot retelling of this scene from Shocker. Let's go. Because you can't fuck with perfection, guys. Can't fuck with perfection. All right, quiet on the set. No,
I like it though.
I like it too. I mean, is it cheesy? Yeah.
Definitely
Incredibly cheesy. But is it bad? No,
No,
I don't think it's bad. The writing isn't bad on it. I like the concept and the ideas of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as I'm watching it, and she, when she says, leave my little girl alone and stuff, I was like, kind of got like a little lump in my throat, like thinking about what it'd be like to see my mom one more time, and kind of like for her to see me grown and where I am, and be proud of her when she says continue to help people and all that. I could feel that, but it also, the execution is not so great on it. Did
you feel like even just a smidge, the dad got a little bit of like redemption in Elise's eyes?
Well, he does, because they kind of try to pull it. They try to pull a cop out. They try to pull a cop out because they're like, well, he was being puppeted by the demon, and then, but I mean, I think he was an asshole before that, even though. But and then he protects Elise. He takes the stabbing for her. He protects her, and then apologizes before he vaporizes. So I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of the his redemption, but I think it's more her forgiving him is the metaphor there, you know. And I think the demon is actually alcohol. If we're gonna get metaphorical into this, probably the demon.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right. I did not think about that, but yeah, that's absolutely what it is. Like,
yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is too. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
that's a scenario of like the sister, leaving the little brother behind because she had to get out of there. You know,
Hmm.
yep.
she didn't really have a choice, but she like feels guilty for leaving her little brother, obviously, with a monster like that. Let alone the fact that he was like a murderer or whatever.
Serial murderer.
Yeah,
um, yeah. So the ending,
I
yeah,
thought the
it's
same. I thought the same thing about the mom, like her seeing her mom again. I felt like there should have been like some kind of like, emotional
catharsis,
break at that point.
a
Yes,
catharsis. Yeah.
exactly. Because at least I love her to death, and it's so like a lot of this is cheesy, but
Yeah.
it's like, come on, like just cry a little bit or so. Like she does
Bring it
cry a
into
little, but
lean into the fromage at that point. Yeah. Yeah.
lean into the love of your mother that you haven't seen since you were a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, like I don't know. I guess maybe I was thinking of my mom. Like my mom lost her mom when she was a little girl, like 10, and I'm just like I know how deeply I don't think my mom listens to this, but I know how deeply she misses her mom, and I know that there would be like an intense emotional thing going on if she saw her again. Like I don't know.
I mean,
That's
they
just
kind of
I
tried
wanted
that,
some
but
waterworks.
they kind of tried that, but instead she just has her kind of just be like, I don't have the words. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and again, so
Which is understandable, but
yeah, so
you don't
here's
need
my
words, but you need something.
yeah, yeah. So I like the where it ends up and all that stuff, but I think my biggest problem with this movie is the way it's put together. Like the transitions are incredibly awkward. I think from scene to scene
Yeah.
because it's like we kind of just jump from there's like not connective tissue. We kind of jump from scene to scene in a lot of it. Like we'll put like a shot of the house so we have a transition, but it's like she says I can't be in this, no, I can't help you. And then the next thing she's like, I'm sorry I woke you boys up, but that guy called and it was from my house. And I'm like, that's a weird transition there to get to that scene. There should have been I feel like they cut something in between there. And I
Hmm.
felt like there's plenty of scenes that they do that. They just cut stuff that's,
Hmm.
you know, to kind of get the runtime where they want it or what have you. And I think there's just the direction is kind of different than the rest of them.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when Tucker was like, pulled that fan off of there, and he's like, "Let me," and he
Oh,
like grabs the
that is
flashlight.
that's the scene that I laughed at the most with them is when he said that when he's like uh stand back, grabs a flashlight and then hands it to her. You're gonna need. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's good. I like that bit. No, I think Tucker and Speck still have some good scenes together and some good lines, and there's some
I
stuff
thought it
that's
was a
weird.
little. I thought a little bit of it was uncomfortable with them like hitting on her
The
nieces so
girls
hard,
because they
like
seem like way young, and I
way
don't really
younger. Yeah,
understand the ages, and I don't know why he just leans in and kisses her. I'm like, what? Lee Winnell's
yeah,
like, I'm writing this scene where I kiss the hottie.
yeah. No kidding. It's like
They do
didn't need
have
to be
a.
there, but they could like make more movies now.
Yes, yes,
That's more or less what I was gonna say. They do
Yeah,
have an opportunity now to further the story since they have a medium that those two could, partner with. So there's
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, I
Depends on
think
what
that
you
was
say.
kind of the intention. I think that's kind of the idea was that way you could have like, yeah, they partner with a new new Elise, and then have old Elise still guide him from the afterlife and what have you. Yes, I think
Yeah.
you're right. But then instead, this movie I don't think performed as well as the other ones, and didn't get. I mean, it performed box office wise pretty damn well, but I think it got like middling
Critically, it wasn't.
reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one currently holds a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes and has an average of 5.1 out of 10. So
Oh, wow.
compare that to the other ones, which were in the high sevens, 8, 7,
Yeah.
even 6s. This one out of 5 is quite a bit lower because I do think that it's the weakest of these movies that we've
Yeah,
watched
so far, for sure.
It is.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to enjoy in it for sure. I just think that there's just the way the movie's put together is just strange to me. It feels like there's stuff missing. It just feels a little disjointed at scenes, and some scenes feel a little stilted with some of the dialogue.
Elise will just describe exactly what is going on.
That's it. That's what it is. It's yes, that's what it is. There's a lot of expositionary dialogue where it's just like, this demon, it feeds. This is what it wants to do. It wants to feed on the hate of others. You're like, we got that from you beating it and it getting strong. You didn't need to tell us.
Yeah.
Show don't tell, right? Show don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. There is tons of that, and there's also tons of just like the way that the scenes are kind of set up. Yeah, and blocked. They're just kind of the diner scene, for instance. When we're talking about that one, it just comes across very
Awkward.
like unnatural.
Yeah, kind of awkward.
Yeah, unnatural.
Yeah. Well, at first
And
you're
I'm like,
like,
and even
there's. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh.
Well, I was gonna say the.
Minutes down.
I don't have magnets in my hand. I dropped them on
Jesus
the floor.
Christ.
So you're right, because like in that diner scene, it's super. I mean, it kind of fills itself out as you play through the scene, but like she approaches those young girls, and it's just kind of awkward. And she's like, "Oh yeah," and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is weird." But then
Yeah, I mean,
you learn that
I get
those are her nieces.
that part is awkward on purpose, and that's fine. That's
Right.
like just that she's
Yeah, I
acting
know.
awkward, but it's the awkward staging of it is weird.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
and
saying.
it's like
you could pull that off
sandwiched-
in a more natural way.
Yeah,
and sandwiched between awkward scenes of Tucker and Specs making jokes that nobody is laughing at. Like nobody laughs at their
I love
little.
those.
I love them too, but it's all sandwiched together. Like nobody thinks anything is funny, and everything is incredibly awkward all the time. Like, and then with the way that it's shot, it doesn't. Tucker and Specs are supposed to be like.
You're supposed to. They don't land those comedy beats.
Funny.
Yeah.
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 But
those comedy beats aren't.
Everything
hitting like
else is also not hitting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just kind of
The
off
awkward-
the mark a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just a little bit off.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about with this one? Oh my dear God. That was.
Eric, what was
wild.
that?
Would you believe that was a sub bump?
I wouldn't believe that. Fucking Maxwell Smart. I wouldn't believe it at all. Goodness
Oh,
gracious.
excuse me, I may have tooted.
All right, we're cutting that out.
So yeah, what do you guys? Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this one up and start rating it?
I can't think of anything. I guess we could talk about the ending of when she kind of leaves that red door open for Dalton.
Yeah,
and then dreams about
I
him.
I kind of think the ending's a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the same ending as the last movie, right?
Right.
It's almost the same because the last movie leads us to believe that we are. Well, kind of. The last movie leads us to believe that she's dealing with the lipstick demon.
Right, and
because it ends with the lipstick demon, and then because remember she goes to that or Insidious 2, yeah, ends with the oh god. Insidious 2 ends with the lipstick demon. The second or the third one, I believe, ends with the lipstick demon. And
Yeah,
then
but
this
we're
one,
also dealing with the witch thing. The
yeah,
guy, the black witch man,
yeah, the
woman,
the Mason Parker, yeah,
Mason Parker.
yeah, yeah,
Goodness. So
yeah.
there's that. I mean, that's who kills Elise,
That is who kills Elise, the bride. The bride, as it was.
the bride. There we go.
Yeah,
I never
but
knew
it's
what to
kind
call.
of
I
like
always called her the black witch in my head.
yeah, the bride. So what's interesting is like the ending. Yeah, it always does like leads back to the Lamberts, but we know that you don't have to show us that. We know where it's going from here.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had them right off into the sunset in the bus, and guess what? We just infer that in the future, one of their next cases was going to
She's kind of
be
there.
with Dalton and company. Yeah,
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
and the fact that
You're
we
right.
get like a
Well,
legit phone call saying, "Hey, my son needs your help," and she's like, "I'm on the way." We're like, yeah, we know. We watched the movie.
Yeah. And I don't know. Do you guys ever struggle like keeping the Conjuring movies and these movies straight?
I don't, because I kind of.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
they're both.
sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, you get some James Wan and
I can keep them straight when I think about it, but sometimes I'm like the Bill Wilkins and the mask breathing
oh yeah.
guy, and
Well,
like
Bill Wilkinson in the Mask guy are similar to a degree because they both have oxygen masks.
right, and you have the mom's name is Lorraine in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's
Josh's
just like
mom's name's Lorraine. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. And I'm just like, how confusing do they want to make this for everybody?
Yeah.
But these horror movies kind of came out at the same time, kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, James
Yeah.
Wan directed, 2 Insidious movies and 2 Conjuring movies. So, yeah, it is kind of, they're interconnected anyway. But yeah, what do you guys want to give this one?
You
I
think,
already
Derek?
gave my rating. I wrote it down so I wouldn't be persuaded to change my mind.
You're
So
supposed to be open to change your mind. That's the whole point of our discussion.
that's not how I.
That's why we discuss it.
I want to know. I want to know what you wrote down, and if you feel like you should.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So I liked the story. I definitely feel where you're coming from. Some of it did seem kind of stagey, and the performances could have been better. And you're probably right. It probably was the direction, because we've seen these actors in other of the same franchise and perform to
And I
a high degree.
don't want to solely blame the director. It's like the whole production was slightly off, but it just
Sure.
seems like
I'd love to
You know what bugged
compare
me?
this like with the
Do you know what bugged me was there was a scene where it showed the back of Tucker's head, where you could just see like his like mullet, wig piece. I was like, what? Like the extensions that they put in. I was like,
yeah.
why on earth would they show the back of his head like 3 times in this one scene? I was so confused. I don't know. Go ahead, Derek. Sorry for interrupting with that.
No, you're fine. But these are valid points. But I
You want
did
to
enjoy
shit
the
on it a little
story.
more. It's no big deal.
I liked revisiting the characters. After 4 of these, you are invested in them, the 3 main characters. I gave this movie a 7.5. I enjoyed it, and I'll watch it again. Pretty good.
Nice. Well, pretty high. I felt like you were going to go
That's-
way lower.
That's incredibly high. Lydia, what did you give this?
It's on par with the third one.
No.
What I
No,
rated it.
it's not.
No, I think the third one is definitely better.
So what you guys rate these?
I did like this movie. I definitely think that there's problems with it, and maybe it's I don't know. Maybe I'm a little sentimental. I really love Elise. I just really love her, and I think Tucker and Specs. I love them too, but I think they were a little weak in this one. But but I did like the story a lot. I liked the reveal of the, girl not being a ghost twice. That really, I think that's a great reveal. I think it's you don't expect it from this movie where she's seeing ghosts the whole time. So, I definitely think 7.5 is a little high though. I'm gonna go maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm around there with you, Lydia, but just a half less. I'm going to give it a 6. I think it's the weakest of these movies. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's like not, I just don't think it's very scary. There's a couple of creepy bits, but I don't think it's as fun either as some of the other ones cuz I mean, part 3 I think is actually pretty damn scary at points. There's parts of it that are like
Yeah.
some great set pieces. Um and part 2 is just a blast. It's just a fun blast to watch. So I think it's the
Oh yeah.
weakest of all of these. Um, I think it was kind of you could feel like it's running on fumes, like kind of getting like your worst returns from it. So I think they needed a break when they took this break on this one because this was in 2015, I think, and they didn't make another one until 2020, 2021. Oh, 2018. I'm sorry. So they took a couple year break, and I think it was for the best. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6. I think the performances are good sometimes. I love these actors and I love the characters. There's just something I can't put my finger on that just doesn't feel right. It feels in uh like Timu Insidious, right? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
like
kind of does.
Wish.com Insidious. Like it's just
Yes.
it's almost okay. So here's what it feels like. When you were a
Walmart
kid,
brand.
yeah, and you'd go to the store and you'd want like some Mountain Dew, and your mom would come back with some Dr. Lightning or whatever, Mountain Lightning,
Yes.
and you're like, this isn't Mountain Dew, this is Mountain Lightning, and you're gonna like it. It's close enough. This is the Mountain Lightning
Yeah.
of the Insidious movies.
Citrus Drop was the name of that.
Yeah, Citrus
The
Drop was
one that we
another
used
one.
to get
Yep.
was the knockoff brand that we used to get, which I thought was pretty
There
good,
was
actually.
one called Dr. Thunder.
Dr.
I remember that one.
Thunder. I always liked that name. That's a cool name.
Yeah, it is. I think we were like, we should make that a wrestler, Dr. Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Um,
my nickname.
Yeah, that is Derek's nickname for sure. Dr. Thunder Ass.
Rumble in my jungle.
Yeah. Noxious.
I liked Dr.
Um,
Thunder.
Yeah, Dr. Thunder's cool.
Anyways.
So, guys, it's time to Atkinize this movie. Who would Tom Atkins play in this? Insidious.
I would have
The
chosen
last
Elisa's dad.
Yeah, you could, because he could totally get
Or
that.
the brother.
But he could also be the brother. Yeah, his scenes probably would have been a little. See, Bruce Davidson's not the problem. I really don't think.
Oh
I'd
no,
say
I
the
don't
dad-
think so either. I just
think
pictured
the
him
dad-
like he would be like such a cool brother. I would be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that'd be a cool brother. You're right. He would be cool. And of course, you believe that he has these gorgeous daughters because you're like, yeah, of course, somebody was riding the Tom train. And of course, she was hot. Okay, Derek, it's your turn to pick. What the hell is that noise?
What noise?
It sounds
Sounds like
like
a fan.
laundry.
Is it my air conditioner?
It might be. It's fine.
Probably.
I
can't barely hear it.
Yeah, you're fine.
I know what we're gonna watch.
All right, Derek, pick it.
All right, this is a relatively newer movie. Let's see, it came out in
Okay.
2022. I have
I
not
love
seen
how
this
you were
movie
looking
yet.
at- Can I say this? I love how you're looking at movies from 1991 and you're like, we're gonna watch a new one. I was like, that's a fucking complete difference than what I thought you were gonna pick. But all right, go ahead.
But I've wanted to see this movie and I haven't had an opportunity. So Might as well seize the moment. Carpe diem. Anyway, I want to watch Black Phone. The Black Phone?
Did we do that one?
We did the Black
No.
Phone.
No, we didn't.
We didn't? Are you sure?
Yeah, I've
Okay, we gotta
never
look
seen
it up.
that movie.
Go back to our
Maybe me and Jamie just like watched it and talked about it.
talked about it. Maybe that's possible. That's possible. Maybe I think
Because
you're
I think we
right.
both watched it when it came out.
I think that's
Yeah,
right.
it's a
I don't
no-go.
think we have done it. We haven't done it. So
Okay.
It
okay,
is not on our list.
okay, all right.
That's so
Where's
funny
Yeah.
because I was definitely thinking of the Black Phone when watching this one.
I was thinking of the Black Cauldron
I
because that's.
was also thinking of The Collector
Oh, the Collector's real good. Yeah,
and
The Collection.
I feel like there was another one.
and the Collection's a
But
good
yeah,
one.
The Collection. I haven't seen
I
those in
think-
so long.
Yeah, we'll have to do those. We'll have to do those at some point. Those are some good slashers. So we are watching the Black Phone. Where's the Black Phone streaming, Derek?
So you can watch it on Stars, or
Okay.
you can rent it.
Those are the only options for the Black Phone.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could find for Black Phone.
Okay, you can watch it on
Stars.
Stars, YouTube, Amazon. I mean, you have to have subscriptions for these, obviously. Hulu, YouTube, and all those. So yeah,
Well, I
Black Phone.
didn't see that it was on or Hulu. Yeah, I see
Well, I
like
think
Fandango at Home and
it-
Prime,
It is.
which is Stars.
It is on. It's on Hulu through Stars, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
With a premium subscription. So that is where that is. Derek, do you have a story for us?
Yeah, I mean, probably not the story you want to hear, but I'll tell you this one. So, Clark and I went camping this past
I
weekend.
knew you were going to tell this.
And he was, no, he was a hoot. So, a couple of things he did. First thing he did was just like randomly flag people down who were walking past our campsite and walking up and talking to them and their kids. Like, buddy, you can't do that, man. But, which it was fine because it was a nice family and we had a chat, and then he really wanted to play with them like the entire time we were there. And then there was a hellacious thunderstorm, and luckily the tent, it seeped a little bit, but it didn't like hardcore leak. But I mean, it was like ground shattering thunder and
Oh
super heavy rain. Like I was very impressed with the tent that it held up, but dude, my son slept solid through the entire thing. I was so
no
impressed.
way.
Yeah, he only woke up because there was enough hard heavy rain that like the seeping eventually pulled like in one corner of the tent a little bit, and it got his sleeping bag wet, and that woke him up. But man, he was like dead to the world. It was impressive.
Dang.
Meanwhile, I'm up for like 3 hours, like listening to this rainstorm and hoping the tent doesn't fall down because it's so loud.
Yes. We've been through that. We went camping in October, like a few years ago, and it was like, it stormed. Oh my gosh, it was so freezing cold. And
Yeah,
I
really
did not get
freezing
a
cold.
wink of sleep because there was this like dead tree like right above our tent, and I was just like picturing it falling on us all night.
Dude, I've had a couple of camp nights where it just was ungodly cold.
Yeah,
That was
forget
Well,
that.
I'm gonna try
Yeah.
camping in like October, November this year.
Oh man,
I'm
it
gonna
was
try to
cold.
do
And
some camping.
Don't do it. Don't
I
recommend.
remember when I was just out of high school and I was dating my high school girlfriend and stuff, and I went on a camping trip with her and her family, and I couldn't sleep in the camper. I had to get a tent. so everybody was my ex-girlfriend was in the tent was in the camper with her father and everything, and they were nice and warm, and I had to sleep out in the tent. It's freezing, and her dad's like, here's what he's like, well, you got the sleeping bag, I'd give you, here's another blanket. I'd suggest to just like strip down to your underwear and like put it on because you keep warmer body heat that way. And I'm like,
No.
no, I think I'm just gonna wear about 3 sweatshirts. And so I'm like bundled up. Early in the morning, I get like a knock on my tent. I open it and it's her. She snuck out. But she's like, how's it going? And I'm like, terrible. This is so cold.
Which girlfriend
Jesus,
was
that would
this?
suck.
This was Brittany.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
We,
So, yeah,
okay.
good times.
It's a long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah, long time. All right, that'll do our show for this week. Be sure to comment down below and tell us what you think of Insidious: The Last Key. Do you enjoy it as much as Derek at a 7.5, or are you more on the Lydia Jamie 6.5, 6 pumpkin rating? Is there something off about this one? Can you put your finger on it? Let me know what you guys think. You can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. Follow us Facebook at HiLa Productions. Follow us each on the Twitter machine. Follow Derek at DDoglyMaster, Lydia at Lydia Spooky, and me at Racket. And by the time this airs, the movie should be up, and you should be watching it. And let us know your thoughts on that as well. So until next week when we watch The Black Phone, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies.